Hello, Class 4. Today's writing lesson, let's get back to designing this island of ours. Your imaginary island, similar to the one that Roz woke up on. So, hopefully most of you now, there's only a few who haven't, but most of you have come up with some ideas about your island. So let's have a look. I'm going to share my screen now and show you what you're going to be learning to do today. So if I go to here, so we are going to write a descriptive paragraph. I should say paragraph. You're going to write a descriptive paragraph. So to be successful in this lesson, now you've got all the skills and tools that you need to be able to write a descriptive paragraph. You know how to do this by now. You've done it in class. You've done it while you've been working at home. So I'm not going to explain in too much detail what each of these four things mean, because you already know it. We're just going to have a chance today to put them all together to create a lovely descriptive paragraph, or a paragraph, if you prefer. So to be successful, I can use fronted adverbials. Right, so you're going to use fronted adverbials today. You all know what they are by now. We've done them a million times. I know you know that you're writing to entertain. So when you write a descriptive paragraph, you're writing to entertain. Someone's going to read this and be entertained by it. They might be scared by it. They might think it's beautiful. They might find it mysterious or adventurous, but you're entertaining people. You're not giving information. You're just making them feel a certain way. So you can use expanded noun phrases. Again, we've done this already. So you should know what a noun is, and you should know how to expand that noun by adding some description. And finally, this is the one that you might not be 100% sure on, because we've only done a couple of lessons on this. This is when we use subordinate clauses for extra detail. So let's have a look. You've done this already. Like I said, you should have designed your island, and it's the plants that we're going to focus on today. The animals will do tomorrow. The inhabitants will do probably next week, or maybe Friday if we get time. I've put a link in your email to this sheet so you can go back and you can have a look to try and remember what your ideas were about the plants, which will help you today. So here's my island. It's Blake Island. Where in the world? You decided where it was. I'm going to have mine off the coast of Africa here, somewhere near Madagascar. This large island here is Madagascar. This large island here is us. This huge island, the biggest island in the world, is Greenland. So you've thought about who lives in your island. You've thought about what animals live on your island. You've thought about what the landscape, any other information, like are there swamps, lagoons, mountains, volcano? But like I said, today you're going to be focusing on describing the plants. You're going to be describing the plants. So how are you going to do this? Oh, I've gone too far. How are you going to describe the plants? Well, first of all, you need to have your nouns. So your noun, what you're describing today, your noun, your thing, your object that you're describing is a plant. So there's your noun, the plant. Now, plants have got other nouns attached to them. So a plant is a thing, but on a plant, there are other nouns, other things. Here's some examples: leaves, suckers, tendrils, roots, stem, mouth, flowers, branch, trunk, berries, pollen, nectar, runners, sap, and fruit. You think you probably know what most of these are, apart from maybe tendrils and runners now and suckers. They're all kind of the same thing. They're what plants give off as they grow. They're like long, thin, whiskery type parts of a plant that come off looking for new bits of ground, looking to spread where they're living, get bigger and bigger and bigger. So basically today, you're just going to describe plants. Now, I want you to probably do about 4 or 5 sentences. You're going to describe about 4 or 5 different plants, but your noun will always be the plant. These extra nouns that you're going to use, they'll come in your subordinate clauses for extra information. So let's just stick with the noun plant. So we know we're going to be describing a plant or plants. So let's have a look. We're going to start with the fronted adverbials. So you know that fronted adverbials tell you where, when, or how. Where something is, when it happened, or how it happened. For plants today, I want you just to focus on the where they are. So Roz is going to wake up on the island, and I want you to describe the plants that she can see. So for your front adverbials, stick with where. Where can she see those plants? They might be in the middle of the island. They might be on the edge of a forest. They might be beside the shoreline. They might be in the shade or attached to a rock. Pause the video now and chat to someone near you and tell them where else you might find these bizarre, unusual plants on your island. Pause it now. Okay, so that's the front adverbials. So that's one of your success criteria today. If we go back to the start, use front adverbials. So in your sentences, tell me where the plants are. The next thing is expanded noun phrases. That's just when you describe the plant. Now, I've put a couple of examples of sorts of tone you could have here. So I need you to decide what type of tone, what atmosphere you want to create. The red one here is like a mysterious, scary type atmosphere. The green one is if you want something that's beautiful, a beautiful, nice feeling atmosphere. So if Roz wakes up on her island and it's actually a nice place, these green types of adjectives. If you want it to be mysterious and a little bit spooky, but scary, go with the red ones. You can also have your plants described as being the size of them, the color of them, if you want to add some of those in. So you've got your plants is your noun. And you've got your front adverbials. So where was the plant? So in the shade, there was a plant. That's your start. Now let's put an adjective in there. In the shade, there was a mysterious plant. So front adverbial, expanded noun phrase. In the shade, front adverbial, there was a unearthly, expanded noun phrase, plant. So if we go back to the start, we've used front adverbials and we've started to put some expanded noun phrases in. But I want you to go a little bit further today. So it's telling me where the plant was, where was it? What did it look like? An adjective. And then finally, stick a subordinate clause on the end. So front adverbial, in the shade, there was a carnivorous plant. And then for your subordinate clause, you're going to add some extra information on the end that doesn't make sense on its own. And this is when you can use your other nouns. This is when you can use your suckers, flowers, branches, leaves, fruits, pollen, nectar to put on the end of a sentence. So in the shade, front adverbial, there was a carnivorous plant dripping with red sap, holding onto berries tightly, filled with bright red nectar, covered in dead flies. So these are the bits that come at the end just to give a little bit more detail. So you will do it on TeacherMade. It will look like this. Write at least 4 sentences. Use front adverbials, expanded noun phrases, subordinate clauses. I've made a little bit of a start here. When Roz finally hatched from her wooden egg, she found herself in a most unusual place, a very different environment from the factory she remembered from the last time she was awake. And then you'll have a box here. So if I go to TeacherMade, if I go onto this website for you, so I can access this and I will show you what you need to do. Oh no, it's not working. Let's have a look. So it is Tuesday, 23rd of February, island plant description. Here we go. This is what it will look like. This is where you type your sentences in now. So when Roz finally hatched from a wooden egg, she found herself in a most unusual place, a very different environment from the factory she remembered from the last time she was awake. So I want you to write your sentences now about the plants. So front adverbial, remember, in the shade. I'll make this a bit bigger so you can see it. In the shade. Maybe I won't. In the shade, there was a carnivorous pink plant. So I've done my front adverbial where the plant was. I've put 2 adjectives before it. In the shade, there was a carnivorous pink plant. And this is when I put my subordinate clause in the end. So use one of your other nouns. There was a carnivorous pink plant filled with dead blue bottles. Blue bottles are a type of fly. Boom, 1 sentence done. In the shade, there was a carnivorous pink plant filled with dead blue bottles. If you forget what you're doing, front adverbial first. So in the next plant then, we're still writing about plants, so I'm still going to keep the same paragraph. I'm not starting a new line. So let's think of another plant. Let's have something, done in the shades. Let's have one hidden in the grass. Hidden in the grass. Now I'm going to keep the mysterious spooky tone. There, Roz spied a tiny unearthly, a tiny unearthly plant. So I've got my front adverbial. Where was it? Hidden in the grass. Describe the plant, tiny unearthly plant. And now a subordinate clause at the end. Hidden in the grass, Roz spied a tiny unearthly plant. Now, can I try this? Let's do the suckers, the tendrils coming out. Roz spied a tiny unearthly plant with black tendrils creeping from its stem. Ooh, lovely. So there's 2. You would have 2 more to do. Click, I'm finished, I'm done, hand it in. I can mark it and I will check that you have used fronted adverbials for where the plant was, expanded noun phrases by telling me a couple of adjectives, and then the subordinate clause on the end.